Spice dice. I think it's got to exist just for the rhyme so that we can have some nice spice dice. And I've always wanted to make something like that. In Christmas of 2020, my family and I started binge watching this show called Hot Ones, and it is awesome. And so for Christmas this year, my parents bought me a bottle from the show. By the way, Sean Evans, if you want another handsome bald man to interview, I'd be happy to come down. We have the hot sauce that Sean himself has said if you can get through this hot sauce, you can get through all of the rest while you eat wings and do interviews, I guess. And I don't have to say the name because their guests say it, so take it away, Shaq.
The bomb beyond insanity hot sauce.
And it is exactly as described. It is crazy, crazy spicy, and we're going to put it in some dice and ruin it so that you can't eat it at all. So we're going to take our typical dice molds and essentially put that in resin, but I wanted to do a little bit more than just pouring the hot sauce in some resin and making dice out of it. And I thought the logo on Da Bomb is awesome. It's got kind of a retro army green as well as a cool yellow and black nuclear symbol that I thought I could recreate in a dice box mold. So I'm going to take the gold mica powder and take a brush and just rub it onto the top. I want that to be the lid of the dice box. This way it's got a nice cool nuclear looking symbol on the top, though I'm not going to go full whole hard on it and make the circle. I just don't believe that it would work out that well. It's kind of interesting using this black pigment from Stuart Simple. Anytime it gets near silicone, it kind of moves outwards as if there's static affecting it. Kind of crazy, but now we're going to go on to the green and the red using some Mad Mica's pigment powder. These are the closest mica powders that I had to match the actual color from the logo. The red is just going to be on the bottom, so it'll be inside the mold, where the green is what I'm going to mix with the resin. I'm using a Envirotex light resin. It's a 1:1 by volume resin. We're going to mix it up for about 5 minutes or so until our hands are tired or we have absolutely no streaks left in the resin, and then we got about 40 minutes left to work with it. So I'm going to set some wax paper down and get my molds all lined up and ready, and I pour about half of the resin off because I only want half of it to be green. Mixing in what I believe the metric system calls a wee bit of olive martini green, I think it got a pretty good approximation of that green army color from the logo. So now I can pour it into the bottom and top halves of my dice box mold. After this, there's nothing left to do on the dice box molds because they just have to sit there and cure. The only thing that I do generally do on the lid is swirl some resin up into the corners, otherwise I tend to get some bubbles or exclusions. But now it's time to move on to actually pouring in this Mac Daddy of a hot sauce inside of our resin. I put a lot in the resin, probably too much, and I'm not really sure how it cured properly looking back at the footage. This has a lot of liquid in it or water, and so I was really worried about the resin curing, but it turned out okay for me, but you should use less if you recreate this. By the way, I have tried this hot sauce. It's real hot. I wasn't doing much for about 5 or 10 minutes. However, my mom really likes hot sauce, and she absolutely took it like a champ. The resin mixture makes an absolutely gorgeous orange color, and you can see seeds and little bits of chilies inside of there. Based on the ingredients on the back of the bottle, it seems to be habaneros, which I guess makes sense as to why it has a more orange color than some other hot sauces or hot sauce resin mixtures might. I go ahead and take my lighter and pop any surface bubbles. You really want to make sure you do this on the box molds because there tend to be a lot of bubbles on them, but I also do it on all of the dice molds. And then I put the lids onto the bottom halves. Make sure you have resin on both of them, and it's fine if resin squeezes out the side. Same song and dance that we normally do, but now we need to put it inside the pressure pot. I'm going to put it to about 40 psi, and I leave it in there for about 72 hours. I did that just because this had a lot of liquid in it and I was worried about it curing. But now we can take a look at the dice box molds, and holy crap, that is a really cool looking nuclear symbol. Now it doesn't have the circle in the middle. I just was not confident in my artistic abilities to make a realistic looking circle that wouldn't just make it look worse. But I really like how the green and the red look combined with that yellow and black lid. I think this is a really cool shell to put our dice in, and so I'm really happy with this mold, and I think it very much fits the theme. It's pretty close to that bomb on the front of there, so I'm going to call it a win. The actual dice themselves came out like a muted highlighter orange color. It's not as vibrant as it was when it was in its liquid stage, but it looks awesome. It's got these flakes that kind of sunk to the bottom with the chili pepper pieces. It looks like it messed with the texture on the surface of the dice, but it's as smooth as could possibly be. So that's kind of a cool byproduct of it, I guess. It wasn't intended, but I think it looks awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and sand them up and we can get to inking them. I'm going to ink them with the same yellow and black motif that I did for the lid of the box. I think we're going nuclear colors. Why not just go all out on the nuclear? So I paint half of the numbers, the high halves of each dice in yellow and the lower halves of each number set in black. So 1, 2, 3 black on a D6, 4, 5, 6 in yellow. And I think that's a really awesome looking dice. I'm so glad I can make something like this and share the skill of how I make it with you. Did somebody say skill?
Hey, whoa, this is my thing.
Oh, you are totally right. I'm so sorry. It's different this time. We have a new guy for a new sponsor. Why don't you come in and do this one for everybody? Hey everybody, my name's Tony, and I'm one of the new voice actors here at Rybonator, but you can call me Tarragon Tony. I happen to like spices a lot, and these dice are so dang spicy they burn your lips right off. But if I'm talking spice, I'm talking Tarragon, baby. It's so good, forget about it. No other spice is as good. And if we're talking Tarragon, let me tell you about a little company called Tarragon Gaming. Thanks, Tony, but I'll take it from here. If you haven't checked out today's sponsor, go check out Tarragon Gaming. They are really awesome, and they make things like those Tarragon terrain tiles that I've reviewed before. I absolutely love them, and they're making more stuff for them like scatter terrain. They also have a bunch of cool things like dice trays that not only hold your dice, they also hold a cool new thing that they call tabletop coasters that hold things for your tabletop as well as your drink. You can customize a ton of their stuff, and by the way, 2 random customers who do buy from them are going to receive a black Rybonator coaster with my logo on the back of it. So thanks to Tarragon Gaming for sponsoring this video, and thanks to our newest voice actor, Tony, but let's get back into the dice. I gotta say, I really like how they turned out. I think the multi-inking definitely adds some life to them, and it gives some variety to an otherwise very plain set of orange dice. This one is definitely more about what's inside it than the overall visual appeal of the dice. And I mean, hey, who'd have thought we'd be making spice dice like this? I wouldn't have thought it, would you, Paul Rudd?
Not me.
Okay, I did the meme. I had to. Go check out Hot Ones if you haven't ever watched it before, and I need to set these inside their dice box gently. I mean, they were made by Da Bomb's hot sauce, right? We gotta be really careful and gentle with these dice. I don't even know if we can roll them. But opening up our nuclear shell, we can see some amazing looking dice inside, and I think it looks pretty close to the dang logo on the front of the hot sauce. Now, we're gonna take them out gently because we want to also see how they look compared to the actual hot sauce, and you can see from the bottom, it's far lighter, but that makes sense. It's kind of diluted itself, but it looks really cool, and I'm pretty happy with these dice. And you thought these were spicy dice? Well, we're gonna go ahead and blow that away in a future video because a patron sent me some dried chilies of some of the hottest chilies in the world. So make sure you stay tuned if making spicy dice or seeing chili peppers and clear resin is gonna be your thing, because I'm pretty excited about that one. That segues pretty nicely into a like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike that. I wanna see that too, even if y'all can't see that bar anymore, and subscribe so that you can check out more videos in the future. Or look at this video down at the bottom in case you want to learn how to make dice from scratch or your own molds. I can show you how to do that. And trust me, I know you want to see these dice rolled. Everybody wants to see dice rolled, but I'm really worried about the vol. Oh, God, no.